The topic is the sin of libation, the sin of libation. And you might be wondering, Rev, what does that mean? Libation. Everything that God does, the enemy builds a replica of it. And the intention is to cause man to fall out of relationship with the Almighty. Whenever or wherever you hear the word libation, there is a deceitfulness attached to it. Whenever we hear libation, the practitioners of rituals and demonic customs will always want us to think that we're referring to drink offering. The ritual of libation consists of a pouring out of liquid as an offering to a deity or a spirit, and sometimes that spirit is in memory of the dead. And this can happen during casual social settings or big milestones such as weddings or any form of celebration. Now, libation itself, that we say what it is, libation in itself is a pouring out of a drink offering to a deity. How is libation carried out? When we are laying foundations of a building, we tend to pour libation and we mutter something. We do this for foundations for even church because it seems like the normal practice. We do it for houses that are being built. We do it for business places that are being erected from the ground. We do that. We pour libation in our concrete. We pour it in our foundation when we're building. They come with a bottle of rum and they pour it on the ground and they mutter something. Before we know it, we're entertaining demons when we embark on these customs and culture. When they come to your new house and they pour that libation on the ground and they mutter, spin the roll and they make some enchantment, you just gave them legal ground to your foundation to erect and to build on something that is ungodly. You know, the homes where the person dies and we have our comrades and our friends come together, and then we begin to having some drum beating, boom, and these drums, they are beaten at a different rhythm. Those rhythms are not the ones we hear in church, or if we're having a little get together somewhere. These drums are beaten at a different level, and the vibration that it is beaten with conjure spirits and speak to the dead. It will look innocent if it's somebody that you love, but this sin is a sin before the eyes of God. The Bible tells us that we are not to communicate with the dead. That is the sin of necromancy. Saul did it. Saul did it when he disguised himself and he went to that witch and he said, call up Samuel's spirit. Call up Samuel. See what I'm saying? So when we pour that in a dead yard and we begin to hear the vibration of those drums beating and we sing those songs that have double meaning and double standard, and we get into this gyrating and we call it, it's worse than carnival, where they say, okay, let's involve so and so to come and bless this building. We see it carried out in most traditional, non-traditional churches where they pour the libation at these altars. And whenever a libation is poured into especially a church altar, it becomes desecrated. In the eyes of God, it defiles that pulpit. It is no longer the space where the Spirit of the Lord God will dwell. Once a libation is done in a space, it becomes defiled. Whenever they are pouring out this libation, they're inviting darkness into their space. They pronounce prayers or words. The pouring out is often accompanied with a prayer, an invocation, and an acknowledgement of the spirit of their ancestors that they are calling into the realm. They'll tell you that I'm seeking knowledge from so-and-so. I'm inviting my deity from XYZ. I'm doing this, or I'm calling upon that. I'm calling for my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. That's the sin of libation. When they pour out liquid, whether rum, water or juice to a deity and giving that deity permission to enter into the now. They use it to hold hostage and to hinder your spiritual walk, because darkness doesn't like light. So they will always seek to manipulate the outcome of someone's life. That is the reason why many of you probably are asking God for answers in some area, but because somebody had done something in your bloodline or somewhere down there, there's a natural channel that darkness walk, because they come just as is. They come when the doors are open unto them. One of the reasons for libation is not only to pay homage to the dead, but also to activate a demonic force or an entity into that space.